Hi, I'm Joe from Lineup Ninja, and I'm going to talk about why you should be using an event content management system. Okay, fundamentally, conferences are quite hard. They are complex projects. They have a finite budget. They have immovable deadlines, and they're very high profile. So mistakes that happen at conferences, very public. Okay, so managing content, the way it's conventionally done, is a messy process. Broadly speaking, it will break down into these three areas: collecting all the content, planning it and deciding what happens where and when, and then distributing it to your attendees. And this may happen in a roughly linear flow like this, but it may well be that parts of agenda planning are done before content collection. Content will be distributed when you're promoting the show, but you'll still be collecting some content and so on. So they're kind of overlapping areas of activity like this. Anyway, I'm going to start with content collection. Typically, you'll be tracking what's going on with all your speakers or talent in a system which could be as simple as a spreadsheet, project management platform like Asana or Monday or a CRM or similar. But fundamentally, information is going to be coming in to you from various different channels, mainly email, possibly messaging apps, possibly through social media. And that all has to be manually transferred from those platforms onto the tracking system to say what's going on. Similarly, you're going to want to gather things like speakers' headshots, slides, possibly videos and other documents, and they will probably be stored on some kind of shared drive. It may be that you get the speakers to upload those directly there, or it may be that they email them to you and then you upload them to yourself. Or it could be that, they'll say things like, oh, just grab my headshot from LinkedIn. So all these black arrows represent manual work that you've got to do to track what's going on. Moving on to agenda planning, you've got all this information in your tracking system and you need to get it into your agenda. That usually involves a lot of brain work. Most people build their agenda using a spreadsheet. So you're pulling information, again, from your tracking systems. You're then thinking about where it can go, what's a good time and place for that session, and then updating your agenda spreadsheet with that information. And then maybe updating your tracking spreadsheet to say, yes, that session or that speaker has now been scheduled. You might be having to check your emails to say, what did that speaker tell me about their availability or about which track they want to speak on and so on. So you might be going backwards and forwards between multiple different systems to get the information to put onto your spreadsheet. Okay, once you've got your draft agenda, you want to start promoting the show. So you want to start distributing that content. And typically you're going to want to get it to the event website, social media. Ultimately, if you've got a mobile app for the show, you'll want to get it in there. Digital signage to go around the venue, and possibly other systems like a CRM or your AV provider's platform. And in order to get the information from your spreadsheet into those places, it's going to involve exporting the data into a spreadsheet that's in the right template or format to upload it to your website CMS, possibly manually uploading those files like headshots directly into there as well. If you're using a word of mouth marketing platform or social media scheduling platform, you're probably going to have to export things into a spreadsheet that's the right format to import into them. Or maybe you're using a designer to manually generate speaker assets. So you're pulling files out of your shared drive to give to the designer. Once those files are generated, you're emailing them to your speakers and sharing them via social media. To get into the show mobile app, again, you're typically exporting it into a spreadsheet that's the right format to import into the mobile app's CMS. To get onto your signage, you may well be creating PowerPoint slides that can be displayed on your signage. So that means getting the data out of your agenda, putting it into that PowerPoint, pulling speaker headshots across, and then getting those slides onto your signage. And again, if you're exporting it to any other platform like a CMS, then you need to export it so you can import in the right format. So it's a lot of work just to get your content to these various different systems. Okay, so let's say you've got your first draft out there and then people can see it. People start emailing you asking for changes. Maybe your headline sponsor says, there's an apostrophe missing in our session title. Can you change it? You've got to go through the whole rigmarole all over again where you're exporting things to all these different places. And this typically happens multiple times in the run-up to a show. So you have this huge proliferation of files, and all of these black arrows represent manual work that's being done by someone in the team. It's a lot of manual work. That's time-consuming. And as we all know, events can be really stressful and can lead to a lot of overwork, particularly in the run-up to an event. And manual work, particularly repetitive manual work, is really prone to human error. And those errors can bring reputational risk. For example, trying to put a speaker in two places at the same time, that can frustrate your audience, annoy your speakers, and create stress for your team. And fundamentally, all of that manual work means that you're paying people to do basic routine admin, not to deliver strategic outcomes. And if you're someone doing that work, I hate to break this to you, but you're not making yourself indispensable. Other problems: if data is scattered across multiple systems, it makes it very difficult to collaborate. If key information about a speaker's availability is buried in one team member's email inbox, how's everyone else going to get access to it? And if the data is scattered everywhere, there's no single source of truth. And that makes it very difficult to know exactly what's going on with the progress of managing all the content for that event. And if you have a proliferation of lots of different versions of the same file, that makes it very easy to send the wrong version of a file somewhere and end up with inconsistent data across all of your different platforms. And finally, if your data is scattered across a lot of different systems, then you've got a data protection challenge because you've got a lot of surface area for potential bad actors. And you've also got a GDPR risk because if one of your speakers asks you, as is their right under GDPR, to delete their data, you don't know where it is. Okay, so how does an event content management system like Lineup Ninja help with this? Okay, so looking at our three broad areas of work, they will streamline your event content collection, they'll make it easier to plan the agenda, and they'll take some of the pain out of the content distribution challenge. Typically, they'll do this by giving you one place for all of your speaker content to be uploaded. They'll have a portal, and typically the forms will be designed in such a way that all of the questions are already mapped to the correct underlying field in the database for onward publishing. And they'll have email templates so that all of your speakers receive timely and consistent messaging about their own content submission and also about what's happening with the event, what they need to do next. A system like Lineup Ninja can remember important details that you've collected from your speakers, like which day of the show are they actually going to be there, which track does their session belong to, and therefore which stage can it go on, what special resources do they need to deliver their session, and so on. And all of that can be used to inform the planning process. So you don't have to do all that thinking. And when it comes to publishing, then essentially, once you've set up your endpoints, you can just click a publish button to send it to all of those different endpoints. So that gives you some really important, valuable gains. It takes a huge amount of the manual work out of the process. That saves a lot of time. You can give your event content managers a better work-life balance. It means there are far fewer mistakes. So rather than threatening your reputation, you can build a reputation for quality and for well-managed and run events. And it means your content managers can actually focus on tasks that deliver against your strategic outcomes, not just shuffling spreadsheets around. Your data is consolidated, so it means that users can access it. It's more available. You've got a single source of truth, which means it's easier to find out what's actually going on with the content management. Fewer files, so you don't have that headache. And you've got improved data security and GDPR compliance. So there's some of the benefits you can get from using an event content management system. Don't take my word for it. Here's an example of one of our clients, NHS Confed Expo in 2024. They estimated that just using the platform for one annual event saved them £35,000 in that year. So that's why you should be using an event content management system for your next conference. If you want to find out more about Lineup Ninja, then check us out at lineup.ninja. And there you can either sign up for a free trial or you can book a call to see a full demo of the product. Thanks for listening and good luck with your next conference.